Yay for whatever. Woo!
Good morning.
Hi. Oh, you're wearing your blue dragon
I'm
dress.
wearing my blue dragon dress.
Yeah.
I wore my red one last week and I didn't show it off, but I'll do that
Have
on
we
Monday.
showed off the blue one?
No, because
Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow,
the Dear Becky and Lizzie edition,
where we will expound on some
I
things.
do have my
Huh?
I do have my name tag.
You just
I know I'm
padded you.
padded
Yeah,
my-
I'm not even gonna say. My name tag's right here. Would you like? Okay. Hello, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber, and super rainy, so gonna mess up any outdoor plans we had today. Probably Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
It didn't wait till the afternoon to rain. It's raining now. It started raining as I got up this morning. So you're Liz, and what are you wearing? That's so pretty.
I have done party dresses I have a red one and I have the blue one. And it's blue with dragons. And then
That's super cute.
I have a dress underneath.
You gotta show off the. Now wait,
you haven't seen what?
Just
I have a dress on.
No, isn't this new?
Yeah.
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 That's what I was saying.
It's dragon ribbon.
It's dragon ribbon on top of really fancy, pretty other ribbon that goes with it. And wait, is it another new dress underneath?
No, it's just
it's a nice layering.
Yeah.
I apologize in advance if people are like, ew, eating on camera, because oh my gosh, craziness going on. Didn't have a chance to eat breakfast. Even the yogurt I usually chug at home. And my cat's being extra weird, but that might have been because I kicked him in the face last night because he bit me. He went, and I was like, fine, poop. I think there was a pillow between me and his face when my foot came in contact with him, but I think he's still upset. So, he bit me first though. I think he's mad that I put peppermint pouches all around, and both peppermint smell, and
the mice don't like
maybe
it.
the mice aren't coming in because of that. That's my hope. But then he doesn't have mice to chase, and then he's annoyed. And tried to do braids today, and they're popping out all over. I've had my moment of complaining about my hair on camera as usual. And so, oh, you're eating too. Oh, good. We're eating together. So, I am wearing, I don't think I put the name of the pattern that I was wearing, the shirt I was wearing yesterday on the description because life got crazy. Life has been really crazy lately. This is the Jupiter crop, and it's only so cropped. Like, I guess this is still considered cropped because it's not as long as my t-shirt, but I think it was supposed to be like up here. No,
it was supposed to be really cropped.
Really cropped, and I didn't do it as cropped, but this is the Jupiter crop by Caitlin Hunter. And I knit it out of Patagonia. The shirt I was wearing yesterday was a Soldotna, and that was my very first t-shirt top. And I was like, why would I make it out of wool? I'm going to make it out of cotton because then it's a summer outfit. And then I went, yeah, let me just make stuff out of wool too. So this is merino, and it's lovely, and it's really nice for a day like this when it's raining. So I don't need long sleeves, but it's kind of damp.
My weather app was like, it's only a 34% chance of rain, and
that's a decent chance of rain though.
And well, yeah. And then I looked at the radar, and there's this whole blob of stuff coming up from underneath of us. Wow.
So to expound upon like a slightly different topic for a second, not that we ever do that. I always say I promise I'd never do that, and I do it all the time. In our infinite wisdom on rain, like the 34% chance of rain could be throughout the whole day. There's a 34% chance of rain. So the morning has no chance of rain, and the afternoon has 100% chance of rain, and that balances out to like 50, right? So, and the same thing with the 15%, we always talk about, well, we're going to get rain. It's like, it could be like
the way the radar works is it's 34% of that radar field is going to have a chance of rain.
So my theory is wrong, but that's okay.
But we know from experience that if it's 30% chance or less of rain.
That was because a phone call came in. Hang on.
I mean,
I got one of those phone calls that like rings and then stops, which means a telemarketer just tried to call me. So we were here. It's an 812 number, so that's not anything I actually needed to pay attention to. You still see us, but we didn't see you for a minute. Yes.
So if it's less than a 30% chance of rain, chances are we're going to get rain. If it's like an 8% chance, Brevard's that 8%.
Yeah, if it's the radar field and like only 32% of that field's getting rain,
it's Brevard.
It's Brevard because we just get a lot of rain. So yes. So that actually makes a ton of sense instead of throughout the day at that moment. Because I feel like right now it's one of those, it's when I look at my weather app, it's for the whole day, but it's also probably for the field. But it might be right now. Like right now, my weather app says 99% precipitation.
Look at your radar scope.
Yes. What about it? That one?
Click on it. Now
we're gonna waste your time with this.
Blow the map, or not blow the map, shrink the map.
Blow, shrink. They're different things. Yes. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh crap.
Yeah. And it's coming up from underneath.
It's coming up,
which means we're gonna get rain. Lots of rain.
Of course, I got a voicemail. Okay, so this. It's like, okay, we got rain, right? And then I zoom out, like she said. Rain. So, yeah, that's life in Brevard. And if it comes up from the south, especially from the Gulf,
yeah, it's coming up from Alabama and Mississippi, and it's
gonna be wet today. So anyone who comes by the shop for help during our drop and help morning time, this video will probably be published after that because when people come, I have to deal with that. So, and I love to deal with that, but I have to deal with that. So we're gonna have to come inside with masks, as we always say, to let people know this is the only time we are without masks in the shop is when we are filming and it is the morning, and so the air is relatively clean in here, and hopefully we are not contaminating each other. But even before we filmed and it's only us and the air is clean in here, we are wearing masks. So that's just what we do. So if people come in for help, we wear masks.
We found out yesterday because of a HEPA filter engineer guy that we have 3 Corsi boxes in the shop. And he was like,
he saw the one.
He's
like, that's awesome.
Wonderful.
And that's enough for this space because it's a big space. And when I heard that, I was like, awesome, because we have 2 and 1 in the bathroom. So
yeah,
that bathroom's extra clean is what that means.
It's probably sucking air underneath the door.
That was New Washington, Indiana. Yeah, I'm hoping it's sucking air under the door. Yeah.
So we have questions.
I'm from the employee refund department. I've been assigned to your case because you're eligible to receive blah, 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 blah. Okay. We have questions. Good.
We have questions.
If I remember correctly, because you sent them to me, we have questions about organization. In 2 different categories.
We have a Christmas question that we
and the Christmas question was kind of meant to be a giving you time to plan. We could talk a little bit about that today.
I'll read it and we'll probably hit on it over the next few weeks. Just so that, because there's actually a time thing in here. Liz, as it will be exactly 4 months until Christmas when the Q&A episode is filmed, I thought I would ask if either of you has any quick gift knitting suggestions. For instance, I love Rebecca's crochet market bag and I would take the class if I were there. But is there a knitted version? Are there any other suggestions, or any other suggestions will be welcome? The Oklahoma branch of Santa's workshop is open for business.
Okay, that is 4 months away.
That was
crap.
Yeah.
But yeah. But that's coming from someone who really just that's coming from someone who waits until, unintentionally usually, waits until Thanksgiving and then goes like crap and worse coming out of my mouth as I rush towards Christmas. So
last year
preparation is good.
I started my Christmas knitting in like May. I dawdled for a little bit, but I started it in May, and that was all the 4 papillons.
Well, of course you had to start in May.
This year I told my mom everybody's getting gift cards. Yay!
Well, to start the conversation on Christmas or gift giving of any kind with a time frame, because not everyone might be knitting or crocheting for Christmas, but but that is a like foreseeable timeline for gift giving. And a lot of people do give gifts in December, even if it's not Christmas. My advice to people, because I have followed this advice and not followed this advice, is keep it small and manageable. I mean, you run into issues with that if you've already gone through all the basic things that can be given as gifts. But the bigger the project, the less likely you are to get it done. So I see that look on Liz's face.
I about died.
With all the Papillons. I
Mm.
mean, that was, you had
And then
4.
I had all the hats.
And
for-
then hats for the guys,
Mhm.
right? Which hats are smaller, but when it's compounded, right? I had one winter that I was trying to make kind of semi-fancy things for everyone, and like my brother-in-law, I decided to make him a sweater because I didn't know what else to make him. And I think it came out rather foobarred. Like I was blocking it at their house Christmas Eve. And that's back when I didn't know how to block well. And I don't think it ever fit him right. I doubt he still has, if he still has it, it's because they feel bad giving it away because I made it. You know, like I don't think I've ever seen him wear it because he doesn't really wear sweaters. So I learned my lesson on that too. Like he wears hats. And so even though I've already given him at least 2 or 3 hats, he's probably going to get another one because he wears them like even inside all the time. So, I think know your audience and keep it small are the things I'd start with. I don't know what you want to, like, we
Yeah.
haven't mentioned things yet so much, but
Like, unless you're looking to invest half a year into big things, like,
unless you plan well and plan ahead.
and I don't plan well and I don't stay focused
But
as
she
well.
still did it.
I still did it.
I mean,
But like towards the end, it was like I was finishing Papillons, like it was all I did was knit on Papillons.
I think that
my
that
brain
also,
almost died.
right? That also is dependent on how much stress you want to put on yourself.
Yes.
Like if you're someone who thrives under pressure, then that might be okay. But for a lot of people, I think the more pressure, then the less fun it is, and then the more that you resent Christmas.
Or birthdays or anniversaries
Exactly.
or babies being born. We have
Mhm.
lots of people who are like, so I'm knitting X, Y, or Z, and they're big X, Y, or Z projects for family graduation, family birthdays, family weddings.
Something they want to wear to a
whatever.
wedding, and they
Yeah.
have a deadline,
And-
and yeah.
Generally, towards the closer it gets, it's like, well, maybe it'll be for next anniversary or the next birthday, because it takes a long time to do big things.
Mhm.
Even if you have all day to sit and knit, and nobody really has all day to sit and knit because you have to cook lunch, you have to eat lunch, you have to sleep sometime, you know, like there's always
Yes.
little,
I'm just like, cook lunch? What is that?
you make your sandwich.
You make meals.
Yeah.
And do meals and eating and
Yeah. Socializing with
resting
your
and-
family and friends and,
Yeah.
you know,
watching that TV show that you can't also knit while in front of because what you're knitting for someone is complicated.
or
Yeah.
even if it's not complicated, you know, yeah. So
Or reading a book, and some people can read and knit and some people can't. And you know, yeah, so there's, I mean, I think there's so many things that factor into gift giving. There is, I think we can almost keep this at more of a general gift giving thing. Bye. No, there's like, how knit worthy are they? So you may not want to make a really big item for someone if, like I said, they're not necessarily knit worthy, in that they're going to be like, huh, or they're the kind of person who thinks it's easy and doesn't take a lot of time to knit something. Then they might not appreciate it as much, take care of it as much as someone who knows what goes into it. So it doesn't mean don't knit for your family if you feel like that's what you want to do for gifts. I always knit for my family or crochet. But it means if you know someone is not going to take care of it or appreciate it or wear it, don't knock yourself out. Make them something, and you can still make them something beautiful, but keep it small, keep it manageable. weigh the balance between what they want, if they want something, and what you will enjoy making. Because that's what we talk a lot to people in the shop about is yes, they want this in these colors, but is it going to make you vomit to knit with those colors? Then maybe you can find something in the middle. Are you going to have to, keep your gag reflex down the whole time, or like knit like this? Then you might want to find something that's going to make both of you happy, because then you will enjoy it more and there will be more love that goes into it. And in the end, they will appreciate it more. And if they don't, then they don't get something that big next time, in my opinion.
The first shawl I knit for my niece for Christmas, she likes like neon colors. And we had a purple that was so super intense. It looked neon. And girls at knit night were like, we could turn off the lights and knit by the glow of the shawl. Like it was, I almost went blind. Yeah. I won't knit with that yarn anymore, or that color. Like neon-y is not, let's find a balance.
So, but yeah, small things. I mean, some people, depending on the weather where they live, hats and scarves and gloves and things like that, small things. Although I gotta say, gloves, if you're going with teeny tiny yarn, that takes just as long, and socks can take just as long as something bigger. So you know your limits, or know what you want to engage in. But either there are times like I try to go through the whole, I made them scarves last year, I don't want to make them scarves again. Then you have to plan and think about what else could you do. Or you could say, hey, they'll have a whole palette and collection and they'll love it. Know your audience. Some people are making things for others who don't live in a cold climate. So hats and scarves and the stereotypical winter items that you would make for Christmas don't apply. And they're mentioning the crochet bag. So functional items can work for everybody, potentially. So bags and I'm trying to think of, like, I'm going to bags. No, but things that hold stuff, right? And
cowl. It's a quick
cowl, although not the cowls are funky and
weird.
interesting, because sometimes guys are like, no, I can't wear a cowl. And I'm like, it's just a scarf that has been tied together, but it still works.
There are simple cowl patterns that are more like gaiters that,
But I want to talk my mouth full. That's a really good idea, though. We have new names for things that are actually cowls to make them not sound like cowls, because people go, what do I do with this? Gaiters. Look, it's a fancy knit gaiter. And then someone will go, that's so cool. And if you make it out of a wool or merino, then the athletic people in your family who wear gaiters when they're exercising, like, technically could potentially do that. I mean, if it's out of a really thick yarn, it's not functional for exercising. But I can tell you, I've gone out to run when it's 20 degrees outside, and I start with a layer and then I take it off and shove it in my pocket. Hopefully I don't lose it. And brilliant.
The Just Try It pattern, that for, it's the name of it is Just Try It. And because this lady made a gaiter for her husband and he was like, it's a cowl. And she was like, no, just try it. And you could fold it down and it looks like a mock turtleneck under your coat if you're cold, or you can pull it up the back of your head and over your front to where you can stay warm if you're outside in the cold too. And it's very, very simple. Like, it's just knit with a purl line every so often. And so, it's not the blingy.
So I'm gonna have to remember to put that in the description. We'll see if Liz reminds me, or you all can remind me, and I'll add it. But so I moved towards bags, and then we pivoted away from them. But she brought over a bag. So
the question was, is there a bag like the crocheted one? And
it's not exactly the same.
It's not exactly the same, but it's a one skein linen market bag, and it's the Ilene, Ilene bag. And it's just all eyelets except for the bottom and the very top. So there are knit market bags and stuff that are really simple and easy, as well as the crocheted ones. She left, and now oh, your little pocket market bag. I don't know. People were playing with it. Everybody who comes in and goes, ooh, look at this cute little bag.
Yeah, and now I don't know where it is. We have the Market Square bag, which I was just looking for.
There it is.
Where?
Right on the other side of your gray bag next to.
What? And I went all the way over there, and it's here.
Right.
There are 2 sizes for this. This is the teeny tiny size. There's a small and a large. And this has the same kind of base as that, except that one is stockinette, like knit a row, purl a row for a base. And then you pick up stitches around the edge. The Market Square bag is garter for the bottom, and then you pick up around the edges. And it's and then there's this basket weave to it. And one of our knitters for the brioche class we had has a bigger version of this, and it's like her knitting bag. And it's part of what makes a bag functional is the material you make it out of and how tight or loose it is. And oftentimes cotton or a cotton blend or a plant fiber can help make it a little stronger. So this is Queensland cairns. We have really random amounts of cairns left in the shop, and we've made kits out of them. And we took the kits offline because they're all such random colors. We can't have like, hey, get this color combo, get this color combo. So if you want something with 2 or 3 skeins, the larger one takes 3 skeins, contact the shop to see what we have, because we sold them that way. But you could probably do this with another yarn. Some 100% cottons will stretch with wear, and some wools will stretch, and other materials. So it's a gamble until you test it, how it's going to survive.
And I want to say this has some acrylic, so it's kind of like sock content wool that it has some stability to the
because
structure.
It's not just cotton. Yeah. Like I've got a cotton, the zigzag I can see from here, which is crocheted, and I had to double up on the strap because the strap pulled, and it's made out of 100% cotton. The strap became long, and it was like hanging around my knees. So
I bet that the Jody Long Coastline would be an awesome bag yarn,
because it's a mixed fiber.
Yeah,
mixed content. I think that can be really helpful at times. Sometimes cotton is great, and sometimes the mixed fiber is great. So we can do more with this topic as we keep getting closer. I feel like when we remember, if we don't have topics, we could talk about
and we
Christmas
are
stuff.
Heading towards winter and Christmas.
Winter and Christmas are always coming.
Yep.
You can start Christmas knitting and crocheting in January. You can start before Christmas for the next Christmas. You decide what schedule is going to work for you. So, what else? We have the organization stuff, right?
We have the organization stuff. Shout out to Barbara. She says, Liz, I love your dresses. Is there a pattern? I realize this is sewing rather than knitting, but thanks ever so. There isn't really a pattern. It's all rectangles. They're reminiscent of the little kid dresses where you do like a little border, chest band and rectangles. And
see, she says
skirts.
That, but I think there's more to it than that.
Not really.
For the non-sewers, we can't make a dress based on that information. I'm just saying.
If you do sewing, I will write her back with the
when it's like a lot of people ask you that, and you try to get back to them with the specifics, but like, yes, it's rectangles, but there's pleats, and when I see you like pinning a dress, there's a lot of pins involved, and but that also makes it harder to be like, here's how you do it, because, or like, here's the schematic for it, because you make them for you.
There's a lot of pins involved because I'm combining 6 yards of skirt into 42 yards of bodice, or 42 inches of bodice, I should say.
And then she says it's just rectangle.
It is just rectangle.
I know, but that just doesn't compute to my brain. Sorry.
Sorry.
Why are
Hey,
you sorry?
I don't
I'm
know.
the one who's criticizing you.
Sorry is my default word.
So I think there's a formula that Liz uses, but it's not easily conveyed to someone else of like, hey, you want to make this? Here you go. It's because you know how to make them for you. And
yeah.
so it's like second nature almost at this point.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I know how much skirt I like. I know how much,
Mhm.
like just basically it's like building a sweater. Once you do your first one, you kind of know
Mhm.
how much positive ease and whatnot. But yeah, it's measure your chest, make a band. That's
And
it.
it's not like you started from a pattern that you can
No.
put the link to for other people. It's grown over the years probably to you have your formula and you have your way of doing it. But that it's like I feel like it's like the time when I first started teaching art to students and I was like, well, of course you just draw it. And they're like, what?
But
And
for
communicating it is difficult.
anyone that sews, saying it's like the little kid dress with the chest band and
That's true.
stuff, because that's basically what it is.
Mm.
Skirt goes all the way to the ground, and then there's safety pins involved and whatnot. But yeah, pretty much, it's just
And she says it's just rectangles. I think
It
she's
is.
managed to do some very it is. I think
It's
she's
like quilters going, I can do a 16-point star, but I can't put rectangles together.
I was going to pay you a compliment, and I'm going to still pay you the compliment of you may say it's just rectangles, but you've managed to make really beautiful things out of just rectangles in a way that someone else is like, I have no idea how to do that. So I think it's brilliant. And I also understand that that brilliance is hard to communicate to someone else because it's something that's so second nature to you at this point. So
I've been
yes.
doing this for 25 years for me. I was like, how long have I been wearing dresses? Micaiah will be 25 next year. So yeah, 25 years.
You started when you were pregnant with her or right after she was born or
When I was pregnant, because it was cheaper to go to Walmart and get $1 a yard fabric.
so I'm curious and I have a question. What inspired that? Was it just were you wearing like traditional modern clothes and someday just went, I'm gonna try dresses because it was cheaper, or was there
I wore
not
normal,
to put her on the spot. Sorry.
No, I wore normal clothes until I was pregnant with Micaiah, because when I was looking for maternity clothes when I was pregnant with Micaiah, they were expensive and they were harder to find. Like now you can get maternity clothes at Old Navy, like, but it was like, and I'm a bigger girl than a lot of the, just go get them off the rack at, JCPenney or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I started making my own dresses, and it was cheaper because Walmart had $1 a yard or $2 a yard fabrics, and it was cheaper for me than to go buy maternity dresses.
See, again, I feel like there's a lot of people out there.
Anymore.
No, but it's your thing now. Yeah. But I feel like there's a lot of people out there who, when they had trouble finding maternity clothes, this would not have been their first impulse. But it's really cool. So
I'm also 2 different sizes, so going to wear normal clothes is difficult.
Did you have a lot of sewing experience prior to this? And so jumping to making your own clothes was kind of a natural progression, or did you learn to sew to make your own clothes?
When I was in high school, one of our friends helped me make a dress. She was like a formal seamstress, and we did the pattern and everything like that. I know how to follow a pattern and I know how to sew. I don't know how to alter a pattern. So like people are like, ooh, it's easy, just help me fix. It's kind of like with knitting, where if we want to alter a pattern, not everybody can do that. So yeah, so
you had some knowledge of sewing
knowledge
before you dove into this.
And I tend to find all the cheats. Like, even though it looks like I have, proper pleats, they're not proper pleats.
They fool me.
They
fool most people.
Anybody who knows how to do them knows that I'm not doing them right just by looking at them. But I'm not going to sit and measure fabric.
Yes, they're yours, and you're not selling these to other people and passing them off as proper pleats.
No.
So,
but
yeah.
I've found the cheats, because it's like I'm self-taught. So,
it's like some of the cheats with knitting and crocheting can't really be easily conveyed. When someone's like, well, I want to figure out how to make it fit my bust or do this. Like there's a couple of places out there that have managed to break it down and write it down and it might work, but it's like, it's more, I can't give you that gift of here's how you make it work for you. You have to figure it out. You might have to do a lot of trial and error because it's not my wheelhouse. I have I think a pretty decent tips and tricks channel, but I don't know everything. And a lot of the things that people write that are really super specific to them may not be in my wheelhouse. So, we probably only have a few minutes left.
Okay.
Do we want to address the storage issue or
we can save it. She's just throwing questions.
We might wait. Tune in next week because we will talk about ways you can store things like needles and yarn and things like that. And we might have touched on it before. So if you're a listener from way back, you might be like, yeah. But if you're a new listener, it might be like, huh. And what we do is not necessarily what works for everybody. So yeah, I have a whole shop to store things in. So
we're not the most organized people. But we have lots of friends who are uber organized.
We can draw upon their wisdom.
Yes.
And if we don't cover everything that they say or they do, they can write it in the comments. So I will say, so we have if you'd like to ask us a question or have us address something, and like I said, we're going to spill some of this over till next week. You can write 35 South Broad Street, Brevard, North Carolina, 28712, or you can email
Liz at sundragonartandfiber.com.
and she'll keep track of it because I get too many emails. The other thing I was going to say, so we have virtual sit and stitch tomorrow night from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. And you can go on Zoom and get in with the shop phone number.
828-877-3550.
And we had Spunky Sheep here last week, and we still have a little bit of her stuff left. I bought some stuff from her so we could sell it to you all. I haven't gotten it online yet. I still need to get the Vogue magazine online as well. Sorry, someone's putting a chair in a weird place.
It's where it was when he found it.
Okay, fine. Still a weird place. But we have this lovely fall palette that she has. Like what we have left of her yarn is Targhee, which is a brand of sheep. It's a certain type of sheep, and nylon blend. It's fingering weight. And so you could use it for socks. It'd probably be sturdier than merino because it's not quite as soft as merino, but it's soft. We have the straight up colors. That's right, you boogered the green, so never mind. And then we have the fall palette of everything all mixed together, and we have at least one of this really nice brown pecan that would go with this. All of these colors will actually go together, which is kind of cool. I have to see if I can get them online though. So if you say, ooh, you held up that random yarn at the end, it's really good indie dyed yarn. And you want it, pumpkin and stuff, right? Yeah, and orange and yummy. Call the shop because I don't know when I'm getting this online. It depends on how fast or slow the day goes. And lately, there's been a lot going on, so it's been really hard to get the extra stuff done. Like putting stuff up online sometimes becomes extra when we have lots of customers in the shop or lots of people come up for help or things like that. Like we're starting to revamp the coming in for help process. And yeah, because we don't have enough time to do stuff at the shop. Anyway, we have all this yarn that still needs to be put away on the shelves or organized, and we have so much yarn coming for y'all. I'm looking to invest in some new lines of yarn, which will be really, really fun. But I don't know when we're going to have time to put them away.
Because yesterday during sit and stitch,
which is not a come for help time. It's supposed to be a
hangout,
sit and socialize. Yeah. And Rebecca gets the morning off time.
Because we have stuff we have to do time.
Yeah, it's not like I'm just going to sit on my bum out there. Yeah. I do want to also sit with my customers, but it's a... We all socialize, we can get stuff done.
And it was fun, but we had a lot of people show up.
I had about 3 or 4 people all show up, which is what I expect from a drop-in help time. That's prescribed to be that. not not from this time, but it's when they had free time. So, and then more people show up to want to make appointments with me, and I love being popular. It's fantastic, but it's exhausting.
And if she's busy helping and I'm the only one in the shop, I don't have time to ship packages. I don't have time to wind yarn. I
Answer
don't
the
have,
phone, help
yeah.
customers. There's a lot that gets piled on Liz when that happens.
Yeah. So we're working on that.
Yeah, we're working on funneling people who show up for help to a drop-in help day or making an appointment, not just swinging by, because it's going to become less cost prohibitive to just drop in. Doesn't mean we want to fleece people out of money. It means we want to funnel people towards make an appointment, come to the drop-in help time, come to the prescribed day. All right. Anyway, that's been weighing on my brain a whole lot since we started talking about it yesterday. So I'm going to talk about it.
It's
More details later. 'Cause
packages. If
September.
you are waiting on yarn to be wound, it's coming. It normally takes me 8 minutes to wind a fingering weight ball, and
One of them yesterday.
one of them took an hour and a half because it did not want to play happy.
It's still a decent ball of yarn, and it's still
Oh, yeah,
fine.
it's
It just
perfect.
didn't want to be wound.
No.
And Liz worked her magic, so it didn't get destroyed. It
Yeah.
just needed extra time and care to be wound.
Yeah.
Which is why, that's another thing. And then we got to go. That's another reason why, if you're mystified, if you come in the shop and say, and wind these for me, right? We will say, probably not. We'll say, yes, we can, but you need to come back for it. Because A, we have a list, we have a back order, you'd be at the end of the line. Or B, there's too many people in the shop. Or people could come into the shop. We will wind it
Inevitably,
when we have time.
it's super quiet when people go, hey, can you wind this? And then the minute I start winding, people start coming in, and then they start asking questions of everybody in the shop, and I can't wind and help sell yarn at the same time.
The struggle is real, people. But we love you. We miss you. And we hope you can come visit us. And we will see you either on Zoom tomorrow night, or we'll see you next week. Bye.
Like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the fun stuff. Patreon, yay!